Hello guys, welcome back. So I've been digging a den with Fenrir today. We've been working on some deep issues and just some spiritual junk that had to come out. And the more we dig, the more I find. And it's like working with Fenrir, Mother Goddess, and playing this music and thinking about moonlight and butterflies and wolves digging this den, and everything's just coming to light. It's like finally it's time. All this deep-seated junk is coming to light, and it feels like the more we dig and the more roots and twigs and everything and bits of stone, and maybe we're finding crystals or whatever we find, the more stuff is being able to heal because it's been buried so deep inside. And Fenrir's like, the cards, the cards. Fenrir doesn't like these cards. He has strong opinions on everything, and basically I looked up the one-star reviews on these. Pro tip, if you ever want to look up the one-star review of something that is been produced within the last couple of decades that probably was on sale on Amazon, type in the name of the product and type in the author or whatever, and you might have to scroll down a little bit, however you're searching, and you will find an Amazon listing that you're normally not going to find because it's out of print or it's been pulled for some reason. Look, if you're having a problem, go right to the 1-2 star reviews and see if what your problem is what their problem is. These cards are too much light. And for people that loved all of her decks, because I know some of you have some of her decks and love them, they said these are kind of the back end of when she was starting to get out of making these decks. They're just they're junk. Seriously, I was trying to find out with the two decks like some really serious stuff. And I was getting stuff like, you need to eat a salad. What? You need to clean up your diet. What? And these could be very damaging because it's that kind of toxic, and there's this therapist, I love watching her channel, about, the kind of toxic body shaming, food shaming, whatever kind of nutritional BS that's out there. There's that in there. There's law of attraction. There's like kind of gaslighting you that like, no, you're not feeling depressed. You just need to think positive. No, they're terrible. If you're going through therapy, don't get those cards. Her older decks might be okay. I don't know, but yeah, those are bad. And a lot of people said, as people that had worked with all of her decks, they didn't like them, or they didn't like that it was like everything was light and happy and okay. And that's not how an oracle deck should work. It should cover the good and the bad. Because if you're asking, is this going to be a good decision? You need someone to tell you, girl, you shouldn't do that. What are you thinking? You need a card deck will do that. The Cheerful Sands cards I have worked better and told that those two decks to bite them. So you're like, learn from your past mistakes, girl. You got a good head on your shoulders. You shouldn't never been using these decks. I got them, I got bit in the butt. I got them to kind of like, ha ha ha. I'm gonna get them and I'm gonna work with demons. Da 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 da. Yeah, well, they worked exactly once. And then it was like the decks took a hating to me, and it wasn't because, oh, they're angelic. Remember, she said all these things are satanic. It was these decks just don't work, and it was like they took a profound dislike to me, and then I'm like, no, it's nonsense word salad, happy, happy, happy. It's not going to help with me working on serious issues. So yeah, they didn't work. And that's kind of what Fenrir wanted to bring to light. I go to a lot of the Reddits, as I've told you, and Fenrir is the one that's given me the green light and the wolf bark of, she shall do this thing, you shall not get in her way. You're gonna have, if you've left a religion and haven't left on good terms, there's gonna be a lot of reasons you left, and maybe all the years of therapy did not help. This doesn't mean never go to a therapist or never, seek help, but I find it therapeutic to go there. So I'm probably not gonna monetize this. I find it very therapeutic to go there and find other people went through the same stuff, and I do. No, there are some incredibly angry people. There are people that become atheists that want to burn every religion and spirituality to the ground, including ours. Keep that in mind. But as long as you avoid atheist Reddit, ex-Christian, ex-Catholic, by and large seem to be okay, though every so often the torch-bearing, we're going to burn your religion to the ground people show up. So yeah, definitely not monetizing this. But it's been very healing. And once you're outside of something, you can realize that yeah, there was manipulation going on. It was put in a really nice way, but it was manipulation to manipulate you into doing certain things. And this thing came up because I prayed to God, so I'm like, oh. And this thing came up about this therapist reacts to something, and it was Mother Gothel and how she gaslit Rapunzel in that movie. And yeah, she did. And they were like, no, this is how it actually works, not how people on the internet think it works. This is actually how it works. You will be useless without me. You need me to, protect you. And the one thing that they value in you that benefits them, like giving money or attending church or doing whatever, that's the one thing they praise you for, or being obedient because that's useful to them. That is the one thing they praise you for, but everything else about you, bad, 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 wrong, wrong, wrong. And it's been ironic to say, I guess, but a godsend, maybe a wolfen godsend, of going and listening to other people say, yeah, this totally sucked, and I still have nightmares, and I don't even believe in this stuff anymore. I still have nightmares. It's real. They place a lot of traumatic stuff on you. There are a lot of things out there because people have asked me in the past how I feel about people like burning religious items. I don't really care because I don't see them as sacred. But I think that you are more important than an item. I really do. If that's going to help you heal, by all means. Though I will tell you from having been on there, if you're going to burn a book of any kind, books usually are sealed. They're incredibly hard to, because it's sealed and no ears getting in there, they're incredibly hard to burn. You want to open that sucker up. So we're not trying to endorse book burning, but pro tip, open it up, tear the pages out, then you can burn it. Put some lighter fluid on that thing. Safety, safety. Don't, involve the fire department in this, or, run it through a paper shredder, have a ticker tape parade. Whatever you have to do to feel better, to feel you broke free, I think you're worth more than any icon or statue or anything else. Um, and that's very healthy because that gives you something to do, something physical to do. The weird thing about being an ex-Catholic is unless I go and I pee or poop on a, altar or spit on the Eucharist, they're probably not going to excommunicate me, so I'm on the rolls forever and a day. They can play all the mind games they want. I don't consider myself Catholic anymore. I got damn right. I would really have to offend the hell out of them to get kicked out. And even then, they'd probably decide, oh, you have money. We would like you to come back. And, there was just so much that pushed me out the door. So we're definitely not going to monetize this. But one of the most troubling things while I was trying to hang on was telling older people, and I don't know if they did this in your church, that your kids are fine. They have jobs. Leave all your property and all your money to the church. We may even take you in as a pastor, some kind of clergy or some kind of novice or something, or take you into some kind of home. They were doing that forever and a day, and of course, only fairly wealthy people were being brought into the fold and told how spiritual they were, and they would make lovely nuns, or this would assure their treasure in heaven. And I'm like, that is disgusting. Their family, just because the parents are rich doesn't mean that the kids aren't somewhere, struggling horribly and trying to survive, and that inheritance might have been the one thing to keep them afloat. That is horrible. But you know what I say, hate the institution. It's not the deity's fault. You can hate the institution all you want. It's abhorrent. I would never go back. And again, for any lurking Catholics, I'm not trying to bash everybody who is Catholic. I'm not trying to bash every priest ever. There are some decent and good people, but the institution itself morally collapsed probably 5 days after it was founded. Yeah, there's only so much you can uncover, literally. Then you go, yeah, you know what? I'm out because there's no moral compass here. You're saying you have one and you're saying you're holy, but this is the most disturbing stuff I've ever seen. You know what? I'm out. So, we're dealing with that. And that can be traumatic because they'll still, to the end of days, say, oh, but the church is holy and, she never sins and she's never wrong and she's infallible. And I'm like, so all the bad stuff you've done was God's will? God's scary psychopath. And that's it. I couldn't reconcile a lot of the terrible stuff they did and a lot of their terrible toxic teachings because I'm gay, so I was already going to hell anyways, so I had no reason to stay, like I've told you guys before. That backfired on them. I'm gay? So I'm not staying. I'm going to hell. Fine. I'm going to go meet every other god, since apparently they're all demons, and we're all going to be roasting together for all eternity because their ever-loving God loves you, but see terms and conditions. And I'm not trying to badmouth their deity. It's the religion. It's the religion, to be clear. It's how the religion is portrayed. It may have started off 2,000 years ago as something entirely different and okay. Probably not, because humans were involved. Yuck, humans. And I go, but, we've been dealing with a lot of that. So basically, it's been ex-Catholic trauma and getting all that out. And getting out some of the horrible teachings that the church had about people of other faiths, which we're not even going to talk about, and everything else. It was horrible. It was horrible. And it was stuff that it's good it's coming to light, because it feels like all these huge, deep wounds I didn't even realize I had are being addressed now. So it's been very healing. We might have a lot more work to go, but it's still been a wonderful healing day. I'm not going to monetize that, but yeah, guys, if you want to work with Fenrir or Loki or anyone, when the time is right to uncover stuff like that, you can. You can also go to therapy. That's why I'm not going to monetize this. You can go to therapy. There are groups, usually run by atheists, but you can go to deconversion groups or to deal with religious trauma or something. Just look it up. I've never been, so I couldn't recommend. But look up a YouTube video, something else. Make sure they're qualified and they're not just going, oh yeah, I feel like playing a therapist today. There's this therapist I watch that she swears like a pirate, but she's deconverting herself, and so she might not be where you're ready to be. She just straight up laughs at religion. You might not be ready to be there, but she calls it out, and she talks about religious trauma and that from time to time. So yeah, it's a huge thing, and it's a good thing to work on with Fenrir, because Fenrir doesn't care what I do, as long as I'm not doing anything intentionally harmful to others or to myself, he doesn't care. And Fenrir's like, no, we do not always play nice. Sometimes people need a little bite. Don't actually bite people. Don't actually get violent. But if you see bad behavior, you know, some religions teach you, oh, turn the other cheek, because they're misinterpreting that. That was actually a smart ass remark. It was like turn the other cheek, so you have to be hit as an equal. Yeah, that was a smart ass remark that could have got people in a lot of trouble. Same thing about carrying something the extra mile. Those were very smart ass actions that could have gotten somebody a beat down, is what they were. Consider the time, guys. It was not, be passive. It was being a smart ass, is what it was. And you have to just dig through stuff sometime. I was going somewhere with that, I don't know, but dig through all the stuff. Realize that a lot of stuff is taken out of context, and, do as thou willest, and a harm none, or just, and it makes you feel better or something. But their teaching is that you can never call someone out and somebody absolutely deserves unconditional forgiveness. No, some people are truly horrible, rotten people. If some period in your life, for your own sake, you want to forgive people, fine. But no, nobody is welcome to forgiveness. And the funny thing is, I've done this kind of exercises all my life. And I was like, I'm pretty enraged today. And Fenrir's like, good. And it let me get out my feelings in a safe environment. So we're going dig, 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 dig. And I'm like, hey, there's always going to be anger here. And he's like, yeah, there's always going to be anger there. And, and instead of trying to bury it, instead of trying to go, nothing wrong here, and trying to bury your anger or your sadness or your hurt or your fear or something, it's okay to own your feelings. If you need to get a therapist, again, we're not monetizing this for that reason, please do so. But, it's okay to own your feelings. You're not in Christianity anymore when you're working with Fenrir. You're allowed to dig up those feelings. You don't have to forgive the church for how horrible they were. And even if you do, and it doesn't take, and 5 days later you're mad again, that is okay. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them anything. So again, so, you have to dig out some of that garbage sometimes. So yeah, totally not going to monetize this, but someone had said in some comments that thank you for doing Fenrir stuff because it was timely for them, and the remark ended up being timely for me. Fenrir is a great one, even better than Loki, even better than Odin, at least in my experience, for digging into the heart of an issue, knowing when it's time. He knows when it's time. And he will come get you. You don't have to go looking for him. He will come get you and be like, it's time. We're digging. Dig, 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 dig. And Mother Goddess was here and she's like, yeah, you need to do this. You need to start this healing because this is why for 2 years you've tried to work with a group of gods and it hasn't worked. You got all this garbage. And the group of gods agreed that we're going to spend a little time apart and that maybe this garbage is buried so deep that it never comes out and it's just integrated into my personality. And they're like, okay, we truly did not realize how deep that was. And I'm like, oh yes, I was raised, I was raised Roman Catholic. There's trauma all the way to the core. I should be laughing, but it's kind of like gallows humor, I guess. But I'm doing okay, guys. Fenrir has been super great. Mother Goddess has been super great. Pizza, music, Loki kind of, in the background, doing some empowering stuff, reading ex-Christian Reddit. I'm okay. You guys are going to be okay. Again, like I said, guys, this never replaces therapy. I don't have some kind of license, but working with our gods in addition to doing the other stuff, like medication or therapy or alternate stuff, is a good step towards healing. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye. Now I lost my mouse. Okay, guys. So lucky. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.